Oh my God! All right, now I've got it fired back up. So second podcast ever. If you're watching this, it's going to be a Wednesday. We just did about 20 minutes of podcast with absolutely no video. It's all audio, which I think that's how podcasts started out. But anyway,
Isn't that what a real podcast is?
So yeah, well, that's what a real podcast is. Now we're doing the Nick podcast way. I almost forgot to do it again. Man, this is also new. There, now we're on video. We're good to go. Wave for the camera. Hello, sorry for screwing up.
You're going to run it all the way through, though, right?
I'm running it now, yeah. So
no, I'm saying you're going to continue. You're going to.
Oh no! I paused it and then just started it back. So this is all pre-recorded for right now because we're new to all this. So we might as well just get all this introduction stuff out of the way. We're gonna have to go back over all the topics and everything.
Why didn't you just keep running it all the way through and then just it's no video and then there's video again?
Because we had 15 minutes of no video.
Yeah, but that's fine though. Most people aren't gonna be watching the video anyways, I would assume.
I mean, listen, it is what it is. We all make one mistake. We're all allowed one mistake, right?
We were just talking about trying to up the game and be professional and.
Oh man, listen, I'm talking, I'm thinking, I'm pushing buttons. We don't have a studio crew over here. It's a one-man show and a dog. Well, two-man show, one on one camera, one on the other, and then a dog. So it's a mess. Damn, bro.
So we're going over this again.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna do it again. Take two. This is going to be exhausting.
So Nick can have video. All right, so we originally went over the Big Trumpy Boy, a.k.a. the Don, a.k.a. Big Donald, a.k.a. Where's My Wall? He signed 4 executive orders over the weekend to help the people. Okay, whether or not you're for him or against him, I will say it's something. I won't say it's the greatest thing, but it's, there's something there. It could just be nothing, if that makes sense.
It could be a lot of pandering.
The first thing being, what happened?
I said it could be a lot of pandering.
Yeah, it could be a lot of. It's true. So the first thing is we have a tax deferred holiday or a payroll tax deferred holiday of 7.65%. So every $1,000 you make, you'll be keeping $76.50 back in your paycheck. Now keep that in mind as you dig a little deeper. That is a deferment. So that will be due at some point. That is money that's still owed to the IRS. So I wouldn't say it's a true tax cut. I don't think anybody would agree it being it's just kind of kicking the can down the road more than anything.
Yeah.
And
so people, if you're listening to this, don't go spending all that money because you might have to pay it back.
I'm trying to get me some new Nikes real quick.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's the worst thing. Yeah, if Trump doesn't get reelected, I mean.
Speaking of that, did you see Foot Locker?
No.
So apparently Foot Locker stock has been doing all right because they have for some reason data claiming that a lot of people has been spending their $1,200 stimulus check buying new shoes and only shoes.
Are you kidding? That doesn't surprise me, man. So when I moved into this apartment complex, first thing I saw was a gentleman walking out of his apartment, going to his U-Haul truck. He was moving in, and when he came out of the U-Haul truck, we were on our tour, mind you, so we were stopped like dead in the road looking at all the different buildings and stuff, trying to pick which building. Yeah. So I see him walking out of this U-Haul truck. Bro, he couldn't even see. He had to look around the shoe boxes. He's walking like this with shoe boxes stacked like 12 high of Nikes and all this other shit. I'm like, dude, what? How do you have so many shoes?
There's 2 different kind of shoe people that I've learned, and this is me learning from colleagues at work because I personally don't understand it, and it's not something I can get on board with. Why? It's either you're a shoe collector, as then you buy shoes and you wear them once, or your objective is not to wear the same shoe, or you match every single shoe you have because you have such a large collection with your outfit. There's that person, and then the other person actually makes money and flips shoes that I can see that are trending, I guess.
Right. That I can see. And I know there's a lot of
Yeezys. They do the same thing with the NMDs when they came out. I mean, this was way back when. I could understand that route more than I can people's shoes. I'm trying to imagine having like a $20 outfit on and then having like $300 or $400 shoes on. Like the one thing that touches the ground, that's where you choose to spend your money. Like it just fascinates me. I don't understand it.
Bro,
like,
I've always been a simpleton when it comes to clothing. I've got the most expensive pair of shoes I'll ever buy is my Aldo boots. Right?
Aldo boots
all day, bro. $140. They last me a year and a half, 2 years, and before they start getting shitty, and then they last me another 2 years when they start falling apart. But yeah, bro. I mean, I just bought my most. Go ahead.
They look better as they wear.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the leather, it's real leather. My most expensive pair of pants, they're like those 511 jeans I bought. They're like $65. All right.
The hotness.
My shirt, this shirt, I bought at TJ Maxx, I think, and it says "Welcome to Tatooine." It's a Star Wars shirt. I think I got it for like $15.
Ballin'.
Right. I don't spend money on clothes like that, bro. I was never able to. I know I could bring myself to spend money on some stupid shit, but I was never able to bring myself to spend money on shoes.
Yeah, I think I did buy a pair of NMDs when they were popping, and they were $183. It's the most expensive shoe I ever bought. And now the problem is they sat in the box because they were all white, and I don't have a good track record with all white things, so they sat in the box for about 4 months. And I looked at my wife, and I was like, "Why did we buy these?" And she's like, "I don't know. You wanted white shoes." I was like, "But they've been sitting there for almost half a year." So I started wearing them, and within like 3 days, they looked like trash because they're white. And I was like, "Never again."
Those shoes I bought, those Kenneth Cole shoes that I bought for your wedding dinner, still haven't worn those. Still haven't worn those again. I wore those. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. I wore them. The only time I wore them was for occasions having to do with you. So it was your wedding dinner and then your wedding rehearsal, or no, the wedding rehearsal and then the wedding dinner, the engagement dinner, and then the wedding rehearsal. That's what it was. But yeah, other than that, they just sit there. They're still brand new. I might try to return them. I don't know. I'm cheap like that.
I mean, the problem is you probably could return them. But I would keep them because like it's something like you've already spent the money. It's already there. So at least you have something when you go to a nice establishment next time, whether it be, I don't know, maybe your engagement party or such and such. I'll redirect for you. Don't worry. All right. So number 2 of the second executive order Trump signed was he extended the eviction ban. So luckily tenants that, that ban that ended where the landlord could then evict a tenant, even though the courts are so backed up anyways, it would take months. It's backed up anyways. Yeah. It's extending till December to where that portion of the eviction can't be initiated. You can't be evicted at least until the end of the year, which is fantastic for people who, are having hard times right now.
Financial issues,
retail, hospitality.
And what strikes me as crazy is that it goes to show how disconnected politicians are from the rest of the world. I mean, they literally think that they think $1,200 is going to pay these people's rent. Dude, my rent in this apartment is $1,275 a month. What are they going to do with a one-time fucking check of $1,200? Explain that to me.
And we got that 3.5 months ago.
Yeah, that money's long gone. And there's the unemployment thing and all that, and I think that's the next thing you're gonna hit here, right? Is unemployment. But even that, you get unemployment, and then what? You're out of work, and you're just sitting there with your thumb up your ass.
How exactly am I able to go to Foot Locker and pay my rent?
That's what I'm saying.
Problem. I need to be able to pay my rent. I need my new J's. I don't understand. If I can't do both, this is like.
Listen, I mean, I've got my own opinions on how you should probably not work at Burger King for the rest of your life, and maybe if you didn't work at Burger King for the rest of your life, you wouldn't have gotten laid off or whatever. But you really, I mean, people are in the situations they're in, and if you're gonna try to do something, at least fucking make an attempt to do it right. Talking to you, federal government, if you're gonna try to give people free money and raise the deficit even more, give them enough to fucking survive. $1,200 isn't gonna do nothing. That's chump change to most people.
They definitely need an opportunity for sure. We definitely need to level that out a little bit and give people who are less fortunate or haven't, got dealt a shitty hand from the get-go an opportunity to get through this, especially during this time.
I've become a lot more now, and I say this hesitantly, but I've become a lot more socialist in my life. Right? Like I used to think, no, you know what? Everybody's got to work for their money and this and that and the other. Some people just don't have it in them. Yeah, for Sean. Yeah, Sean and Jeff. Some people just don't have it in them. They're just lazy. They're born lazy. What are we gonna do? Just let them people sit on the side of the road? Now here's what I'm suggesting. You've got people in this country that make billions of dollars a year. Why don't we just? I mean, they can't spend it all in a lifetime. Their family can't spend it in their lifetime.
Oh boy. Why
don't we just put a cap on it? Like take 1% off the top and just give it to fucking people that are on whatever welfare and all this other shit. It is rough. And listen, and it hurts for me to talk about because I used to be of a totally opposite stance.
This is really rough.
What?
This is a rough one.
You don't know where to really. Yeah, you don't know where to go with that either, right?
I can't get completely like my foot's like dangling on the train. I'm basically being drugged by your train that you're trying to take away right now. So like I can get behind some type of support, but I can't necessarily get behind capping people who have a lot of that stuff's generational too. Like there's these one-off entrepreneurs that have just freaking killed it, obviously, but a lot of that stuff is built over years and years and years throughout the family. It's a legacy.
No, I mean I'm talking about like yearly, annual income, not putting a cap on their total wealth altogether.
What I'm saying is if you've gotten to a point to where you're making billions a year, I'm assuming that I think it's more likely that happened due to a couple of generations of your family doing the right thing rather than just one. So like, it's hard for me to sit back and
I don't know. Look at bro. We're talking about Jeff Bezos. We're talking about Bill Gates. These guys,
Bezos. My guy Bezos.
Yeah, Bezos. They did that shit in one lifetime, and they're making an absolute killing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but like since they did all that, they also employ thousands and thousands of like people. I
they
think
do.
There's
I mean, I'm not saying they don't do good. I'm not saying they don't add value to the society because they do, for sure.
Add some of the most value.
They've got all the fucking wealth in the world. Just take a little bit of it and give it to the people, so we don't have to pay extra taxes. Come on, you're taxing the shit out of us regular working guys, and then you got these guys that are just evading the shit out of taxes all day.
I will say this. It is very easy to say that they should do that until you're one of those people. If you were to become one of those people,
yeah, I know.
All of a sudden you're like, "Oh, this is a bunch of BS." Why am I doing this?
Yeah,
but I'm not. Like I said, I'm like on the fence on something like
I
this.
Wouldn't. Let's put it this way. I wouldn't necessarily employ it, but it's an idea. I don't know. I can see I guess what I'm trying to say is I can see the mindset of the people who actively try to push that along. It makes from a moral standpoint, it makes sense. But if you're a proponent of the free market economy, which isn't really a free market economy, but I digress. If you're a proponent of our economy, then you're not going to, agree to something like that. Because at the end of the day, we're all in it for ourselves, trying to make money. And if these guys, made it to the top, then who are we to take their ill-gotten gains away?
So what's an arbitrary cap? Do you think? Because I'm assuming.
Oh shit. Well,
people,
like
once
I said,
once they hit that cap, they'll be desensitized or not incentivized to continue beyond that cap once they hit it because they know once they hit.
Right. Yeah. It would just be another wall to make them. Yeah. It would just be another wall to make them skirt around somehow. And even if we did add a cap or something like that, then I'm sure it wouldn't work either way. They'd start falling money in offshore accounts again and all this other shit.
Yeah. But I don't think a lot of people understand that by increasing the taxes on people, like wealthy people at that level, they're not paid by W-2. They're not like.
Yeah.
That's not how they make their money. Like, it's not really going to hurt them. There's always going to be a way around it.
Yeah. No, you're right. I don't know. I was just shooting off the handle there trying to figure out something.
No, it made sense. So that kind of that transitions into the third executive order that was initiated, which was the unemployment drop from $600 to $400 per week, but it has been extended throughout the year, which is fantastic because it just ended. So that's continuing that lifeline.
Yeah, it's good. And a lot of people are relying on that. Now, the good thing about the $400 mark is that it's going to incentivize people to go back to work because they're no longer making more money than they would have otherwise. And that's a whole...
How complicated is that?
It's not. And that's the whole... I really don't want to get into politics, but for this instance, we're going to have to get into it. So the Democrats are saying that people need this money to survive because the jobs have disappeared. The Republicans are saying that because these people are getting paid so much, there are nobody working the jobs that are readily available to be worked. So they're arguing different standpoints, and then they're trying to come up with different solutions to those standpoints. Now, I will say that in the industry that we work in with automotive, a lot of the lower level techs, your C techs and your B techs and your lube techs and stuff like that, if they got laid off, theoretically they would be making more money than what they make while they're employed. When I worked as a lube tech, I was making I think $11 an hour, which equates to jack shit.
I think that's what's that $440 before taxes.
Yeah, I would gladly go be laid off and just sit in my house and collect $800.
The state. This is excluding the state unemployment. So you have
you
have to qualify for the you have to qualify for $100 of state unemployment in order to get now the nice. So you're clearing $500.
Yeah, and it's still not bad. The nice thing about it is they finally made an avenue for the self-employed to take advantage of the. This dog is going. Here we go again. What are you doing, dog? You're gonna fall and die.
He's almost tried to die 3 times.
I'm saying, man.
He might be just. Is he ready to check out? Is that what it is? Is he trying to tell us something? We can't.
I don't know. I just got to make sure he doesn't fall. Keeter.
But I'm not. Do you not see that stance? I'm not convinced that he's going.
He's fine. He's fine.
His arms make a V when he walks. Like that's not okay.
Bro, he's old and decrepit. All right, he'll be all right. You stay right there. Stay in your bed, dude. It's not even comfortable. This is hard. Anyway, my oh, there we go. He just slumped out.
Got tired.
My whole thing is, if you're gonna, unemployment's great for those who absolutely need it, but don't incentivize not working by paying too much.
Yeah, because they were trying to look at. It was really.
I have to change out my headset. It's about to die. But continue.
It's very convoluted, but they were trying to have some type of incentive to where you get paid the moment you get back to work.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, but like it's so like random. It's like, okay, so let's say we give you $200 extra if you find a job, and then you get that $200 extra for what, 5 or 6? Like, it's just so random. Like, it doesn't like
not well thought out.
How many employees? Like, I'm trying to figure out logistically how you facilitate something like that. Like, how do you go to each employee and say, we're going to give you $200 extra, you're going to provide it to the employees, and then after 6 weeks it's just going to disappear? Like, wouldn't they just, like, I don't know. It just seems overly complicated. I don't think they're going to go that route. I'd be really, really surprised.
Welcome to the American government.
The best incentive is just to remove the unemployment at some point, like this amount. At some point.
Yeah. The federal. You're talking about the federal portion.
Yeah, as long as there's jobs available, of course.
Florida, you know what Florida pays unemployment wise, just by themselves when there's no federal aid or anything.
It's probably up there a bit.
I think it's like $275 max a week.
A month?
A week.
Oh, a week.
That's still not enough to live on. I mean, nobody can make a living on that, which I think is good.
And that's the point, though. It's not meant to subsidize your entire life.
Yeah.
Just like Social Security is not meant to subsidize your entire life, but people do it.
Now think about this though. Now unemployment is meant to subsidize the period of time that you're not working.
Yes, but it's not supposed to replace 100% of it though.
It is. I mean, because you can't. The only reason I say that is because you cannot work and get unemployment at the same time.
I do know you are required. I believe in Florida. I don't know if this extends to other states, but you are required to put in a certain amount of applications per week to show that you are.
You have to sign up on some job portal or something like that, and then show that you've been. They have like a job center or something. You have to go in like every week or something like that, and and apply for a job or some shit.
Excluding like there's tons of housing associations that will support your rent and stuff at the same time as this.
There's low income housing, right? Yep. And their shit's cheap,
and they're nice places too.
Yeah. It's federally subsidized housing.
We got a place like three miles up the road that will, and they're brand new. They're only like maybe 2.5 years old,
right?
And they're like 1,200 square foot, 2-bedroom apartments, like granite and everything. Now, the only thing is though, you are only allowed to live there for 2 years your entire life. Like that's
really. Oh, I didn't know that.
The rent's really, really cheap. This particular one, I don't know if they're all set up that way, but this one, 2 years max. It's literally just to get you on your feet and then to move on.
That makes sense.
Better yourself.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, listen. At the end of the day, it comes back to the issue with what the Democrats were proposing with the $600 a week thing on top of the $200 that the state gives or whatever it is. If you give people too much money, you're incentivizing them not to work, and that's the opposite of what we want. Our economy was doing amazing. Before all this shit kicked off, our economy was. I think the Dow was as high as it's ever been. There's just production was through the roof.
I think it's already broke that again.
I hope that'd be awesome. I think I thought I saw something about it getting back like pretty close.
Yeah, tech scouts are doing it. So I will say there's something to say that companies aren't going to. There's no demand for anything. That's the problem because everyone's saving or putting it into the stock market. So if there's no demand to buy products, why would I add employees? Like it's
or manufacturing. So there's a lot of industries are stumbling and falling on their face. It's like they got two left feet. You've got to go back to my industry, we've got customers coming in that want to do stuff to their vehicles. I call up the supplier, say, hey, I need this part. Do you have it? No, we don't have it. Or yes, we do have it, but it's going to take a couple of days to get in. So now I'm stuck waiting. So just to elaborate, either they don't have it or they tell me they have it and they still don't have it. See what I'm saying? So I got to sit there and wait no matter what. But I've got a customer on the hook thinking, I just told this customer, yeah, they've got it. It'll be here in a couple of days. Well, 2 months goes by. I still don't have the fucking part. So there is some demand, but the problem is there's not enough to justify running a factory at full capacity. Right. There's no reason for manufacturers to manufacture. There's no reason for wholesalers to stock. And really, I mean, the only people that have a reason to do anything are smaller companies. They have to pay their bills somehow. So, it's really hard.
You're getting you're getting your stuff that you buy in bulk at a cheaper cost, but you're
Right.
not going to buy X amount of product for tens of thousands of dollars if
And
you know,
sit
10
on it.
people are going
Right.
to come in.
Exactly. So it's definitely catch-22. I think it's a double-edged sword, and hopefully, I think the most important thing is that we make it through all this shit with really kind of as unscathed as possible. This dog almost went this time. Sit the fuck down. You're gonna die. You hear me? You're gonna die if you keep doing that. If you fall, you're gonna break a leg, and we're gonna have to take you to the backyard. All right.
He's starting to get that crazy look.
He is. I think he wants water. He's been on a water kick.
He's gonna go behind you.
Yeah. No, he'll be all right. I think. I think he wants water. It's usually. You want water? You want water? Water?
He don't need no water.
I don't know. But
all right, well, so the last order that was signed was in regards to the student loans being deferred to the end of the year, which I know a lot of students are excited about that. So originally it ended September 30th with your first payment beginning in October. Now it's through December, with your next payment being have to be initiated in January. So I know a lot of people. That's probably, I think, it's probably the most exciting out of all four.
It's the most beneficial for people in general.
It's pretty cut and dry, and it doesn't affect any type of income-driven payment, or there's no interest being applied this entire time. So I mean, effectively, we've almost got an entire year without any student loans needed to be paid.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good time to save money, but I mean, that's still deferred, right?
Yeah, it's deferred, but like I said, a lot of defers still accrue interest. This is not accruing interest, and it doesn't hurt any of your plans that there's a lot of like forgiveness plans to where if you pay for 10 to 20 years, if you're in public servants or whatever it may be, they'll go ahead and
write it all off.
Write it off, whatever you pay after a certain amount of time. Right. But that doesn't disrupt that, so you're not getting.
Well, that's good. So it's I see. So what you're saying is just a year closer to that without having to pay any money. That's nice.
Exactly.
That's very nice.
That's probably the best thing that they've done this entire time, minus obviously the $1,200 stimulus injection.
All right.
So, but that's the old Trumpster for sure.
Yeah, man. This man is he's really trying to get in the good graces of all the voters this year.
So do you believe in the polls?
What?
I'm not convinced. I personally am not crazy about the polls, but supposedly he's getting burned on a lot of these.
Really?
Polls.
I haven't been paying attention to any of that. So who's what? Yeah. All right. So I'm assuming then that leaves one option.
Biden's winning all the swing states. This is supposedly.
You know what? This is the second. Go ahead. This is the second. Go.
All right, hit it. Go ahead.
This is the second election that we've had where we have shit choices on either side.
Oof.
All right.
Oof.
It's so true. I'm so sick of all these candidates that are getting put forth. It's just such a mess. We got people that are, one, too old to be doing anything other than sitting in a fucking rocking chair. And two, they just make a fool of themselves when they get up there.
Imagine we have, 330 million people roughly in the United States?
Yeah, something like that, I think.
We have a crap ton. There's hundreds of millions of people.
Yeah.
And this is it. All the money. I think there's a lot of people that actually have a lot of good principles, like Mark Cuban and stuff like that, I could maybe get behind. But no one wants to take this job, unfortunately.
No, it's a shit job. You're getting the shit end of the stick when you sign up to be president, honestly. And then definitely, it's only amplified by the stupidity that comes out of your own mouth at that point. And
I will say, it's definitely a lot of people like to. I think a lot of people think it's easier than what it is. For sure.
Yeah, I can see that.
You're definitely serving the people, for sure. Like with all the crap that you have to deal with, whether or not it's good or bad. You can see people's you can see how they start the first year, and then after the fourth year, and then they get reelected the 8th year, the stress on their face, what 8 years does to somebody being president. It's fascinating.
Dude, Obama aged 12 years in the span of 8.
He did. He looked so young.
Yep.
He
was young
starting out.
He was. I mean, but I think he was 40 something when he got in.
Was he the youngest?
I think he was the youngest.
How old was JFK? JFK.
He was younger than JFK.
Was he really?
Maybe not.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
All right, but yeah, dude. I mean, it's really. Think about it. You literally. How stressful would this be? Imagine, assuming our viewers have jobs. Imagine every day you wake up in your office or wherever you work, and as soon as you walk out of your little room, you're at work. All right, And the work doesn't stop until you get back in your little room, which, again, is in your place of business, and you go to sleep. Imagine living where you fucking work. That would be the most miserable thing on the planet, and I think a lot of people don't think about that when it comes to living in the White House. They think it's all glamorous. You've got people walking around catering to you. You know, you got this fancy golden toilet and all this other stupid shit they got in there. Imagine living in your job. I couldn't do it. There's no way.
And everyone's trying to catch you slip.
Yes.
Everyone's trying to catch you slip.
Dude, you have a nonstop just group of paparazzi walking through the hallways and people taking tours of the White House and God, dude, I couldn't do it. And then all the people that you got to work with, all your coworkers that you hate the worst. Yeah. Imagine that you got to be there with them every day. Every day when you walk out of your room, they're the first face you see. That would drive me nuts.
I will say they probably work with the most amount of people compared to so I go into work and I deal with the same
5-6 people,
maybe 8 to 10 people.
8, okay.
Like they're constantly dealing with, I would say probably hundreds of people every few days.
Yeah.
And it's not always the same people too. You'll have a governor or a state rep fly into you that you've only seen twice this year.
Dude, it's
or
so
you'll
stressful.
have a diplomat come through that you've never met and you have to it's just.
So all right, so I'm sure you've had this issue. You've had people stay at your house for an extended period of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So think about those people staying in your house, and you got to see them every day you wake up, like the guest that never leaves type of deal, where you just all of a sudden they start living with you. It would drive me nuts, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'll have people over at my house for a weekend, and it feels like a whole week of work went by the time they leave. It's fucking terrible.
That's not okay.
No, guess what? That's why they get the wrinkles, man. That's why Obama looked like that. And he's got 2 teenage daughters. Jesus Christ, I couldn't even imagine. That man had a stressful life.
And you can't even really help them or watch them grow up. I mean, you have people for that.
Yeah.
You're dealing with the military. You're dealing with the politics,
it's a lot,
socioeconomic issues, the employment issue. It's just.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's not something I would personally ever choose to
no.
be a part of. I'm glad there's people that will do it, though.
Yeah, well.
For sure.
I mean, there's got to be somebody to do everything. You're glad there's garbage men. I wouldn't want to do that.
Yo, they don't make bad money.
No, they make good money, and they're unionized in most states.
You got that nice pension.
Yep. But
it's not too shabby.
I don't know how I'd feel about waking up and see with me careers and doing stuff for money. If I don't like what I'm doing, I don't want to do it. I don't care how much money I'm making.
See, that's what kind of separates you from a lot of people. A lot of people will
sell their souls for money. Yeah, I know.
Sell their souls for money or do something they don't. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it'd be the same thing.
Pretty much.
Do something they don't like simply to kill.
Look at strippers. They're literally on a pole getting dollar bills thrown at. Dude, I wouldn't want to do that. Look at these titties. I got titties for stripping, but I ain't gonna get on the pole and try to flop them around and make $1.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Christ,
the strip clubs had some of the most innovative way of not only staying open but keeping the cash moving.
I know it. Dude.
I know you saw them videos where they had drive-through. They moved the poles outside. Okay, put concrete on the because they don't want the poles to move.
Yeah,
and you could slowly drive through or stop and throw money out your car window.
Bro, there was a couple of clubs up in Pasco.
Come up with something like that.
A couple of clubs up in Pasco were doing something similar to that. Drive-through car washes and all sorts of stuff.
They had obviously you typically have mud wrestling.
Yep.
They said no. Mud wrestling, dirty, it's not safe. So what's the next best thing or the more appropriate thing in our current climate? Hand sanitizer wrestling.
Oh, that would burn. Dude, your skin's... Yep. Ow! Everywhere. That's going to get everywhere.
But they're working for that money.
Oh, man.
You got to respect it.
And
that's also stressful, too, I can imagine.
It's got to be. I couldn't imagine going to work every day and just seeing the same disgusting, perverted faces over and over. But
yeah,
I digress. Because I don't know how YouTube is about this topic or whether it's allowed or not. I guess we'll find out, right?
But I think there's some people that like it, though, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
It's a much smaller percentage than what people say. But
I think it's the attention factor. And they don't make bad money. I mean, unless you look like my big toe, then you ain't going to make much money. I've seen a couple out there that maybe $4 or $5 on the
Imagine the confidence on someone up on a pole that looks like your big toe. That's something you can't challenge.
Confidence. Unfortunately, confidence. Everybody says confidence makes you money. Unfortunately, that in that situation, confidence does not make your money. No.
You don't think there's always someone out there for somebody? Who'd we see that one time? Bridget the midget.
Bro, oh my God. Okay, but that's a sideshow. Like that's something that's entertaining because of what it is. That's entertaining. I mean, man, that's entertaining just because it's a midget on a pole. Are we even allowed to use that term? Is that a politically correct term? I mean, she is called Bridget the Midget. She calls herself that.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing, though. We're calling it. I'm not calling her that. That's exactly what her
just
name
did.
is.
Whoops.
That's what she goes by. If you don't believe us, you can Google it.
Yeah,
Google it. That's exactly what pops up.
100%.
So, yeah. I'm calling her exactly what she calls herself and what she is known for. So,
Bridget the Midget. Yep, she dressed up as a cop and all kinds of crazy stuff. That ain't right, man. Tell you what.
I mean,
it's like what do they call that? Midget wrestling or whatever, and that's what it's called. Kara dragged me to go see that one time.
As the what are they called? The Spanish
gauchos?
No. It's called.
I don't know what they're called.
The
wrestlers?
Yeah, they do the fake wrestling or whatever like that.
Yeah, they got the leather mask over their whole face.
I keep thinking Conquistador, but that's not.
No, it's not the Conquistador. Those are the people that used to go exploring and conquering.
Oh, what places. Is it
called?
What's his name? There's a
comedy. Commented down below. I have a feeling we're not going to figure this out. So comment down below if you know what the Spanish wrestlers are called.
Nacho Libre. No,
that is a wrestler in a movie. I can't remember what it's called.
He says it so many times in it.
Though. We're gonna remember it like midway through our next topic, and
that's exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and I'm gonna burst it out. Keeter's gonna shit the bed, and it'll be a mess.
So I can easily segue into
hit it.
I'm curious about your opinion. I guess I can provide my opinion.
All right.
When it comes to the minimum wage.
Oh boy.
Okay. Because I guess when you explain the whole you think you should put a cap on people or like that. When you have people in like those entry level positions, do you think that we should require the employers to pay them a minimum living wage?
What's their labor actually worth? What do they provide in turn for the pay?
It wouldn't matter because the federal government's the state is forcing you to pay. So like they technically, let's say they're only providing, I don't know, $8 worth of labor, but then they have to come up with double that.
Wait, who's providing the labor or the money?
The person working is only providing $8 in value of labor.
In value, okay.
But the state or the federal government is requiring them to pay 15 or 16.
So you got the government forcing the business to operate at a net loss every year?
That's minimum wage, yeah.
I'd say fuck no, because then and then you're going to charge them. Then you're going to charge the taxes on top of that, or does that money count as the taxes? Because you got two things there. You're basically taxing them by forcing them to pay twice.
That's before taxes, yeah.
That's before tax. That's a mess. No, absolutely not. That's a disaster. That's just gonna be a huge disaster.
Because think about it. Where does that money get passed on to? If they have to pay double the amount, I'm now paying $10 for my $5 foot long.
Exactly. Yeah, everything. All the prices are gonna go up. There's gonna be inflation through the roof.
Or they automate and they remove jobs. Or 3, they cut the cost or the quality of the product that they're selling or service. That's the only way. I don't know how else would you do that?
I don't know. I just don't see. I don't see why people think unskilled labor deserves more pay, like on a universal basis.
Well, I mean, is everyone? I guess it comes down to believing that everyone is entitled to a fair living wage, like being able to live where you are, like and be able to survive. I guess, and that's where you're wanting to cap people, like, or you're proposing the idea or just a discussion about.
So you're basically all right. So you've got two options. Then you've got force the employers to pay double the amount of money that they're paying in labor, which would put God knows how many businesses out of business. That would be toast. Or you've got some universal basic income bullshit where you're paying everybody $15,000 a year minimum. The government would be. In other words.
It's a morality thing. Like, should the business do the right thing? Or
I mean, listen, the way we're going right now, all right, where they're printing money and shit, you might as well just print another $15,000 per person per year.
Oh my gosh, that's very expensive.
It's going to be very expensive. Yeah, I don't agree with it.
It was costing like $15 billion a week for that $600 a week unemployment. $15 billion a week, I think is what it was.
That's insane.
That's a lot.
It's money that we're never going to see. That's never coming back. You know what's going to happen is going to be like our currency is going to look like the yen when we go to buy a fucking sandwich. It's going to be $32 million to buy a sandwich.
I will say this. this is obviously good for another podcast. We don't have the demand to support that kind of inflation.
No.
It's just not going to. And as long as we keep growing GDP wise, we need inflation, because if we don't have any inflation, then we have deflation. Which
I gotta do something about
that. Worse.
Yeah, I gotta do something about the dog. He's starting to freak out.
Kara,
come get your dog. He's freaking out.
Chuff, 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 chuff.
And he's stinking up the whole room, dude. His fucking breath.
Every time he opens his mouth, I think I lose a few hours. Like if I inhale that, like it's not a.
Here we go. You don't want to be part of the podcast anymore. Everybody say goodbye to Keeter. Bye, Keeter.
Oh yeah, take
Bye,
that.
Keeter.
I like how you don't want to touch anything about him.
It's it's nasty. He probably pees all on it. Goodbye. Love you. Anyway.
Young love.
Yeah, the universal basic income thing and all that other shit it's just not going to work. I don't see what world they think that's going to work in. Not in our society, not in our economy.
We do focus a lot on money. People think that money is going to give you happiness and stuff. It's just not going to. I don't know. I guess to a certain point. I don't know.
Here's the problem, man. Go ahead.
I'll say this: the moment you get comfortable, and the moment you're no longer surviving or feeling like you need to push and push and push, like you're drowning, or you're not trying to work towards anything, that's when life gets really, really boring.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm going to tell you that right now. So the moment you're no longer worried about, do I have enough money to pay this bill or that bill, or can I afford this, can I afford that? It definitely, you have to find a different driver, whether or not have a kid, I guess, or because I think a lot of people, I don't know about a lot of people get bored or not like that, but I can definitely see you constantly looking for something else to make life work. Because you're good. You know what I'm saying? You're no longer.
Yeah, there's no struggle. I mean, I think the chase, just like in a relationship, the chase has a lot to do with it. You're always chasing, you're always chasing something. That's really how anything in life works. I mean, if you don't have a reason to do something, you're not going to do it, right? Well, you're not going to chase it. If you, I don't know. It's just it makes sense to me that when you're rich, when you're filthy rich, and you're out of things to worry about, then that's when people start doing drugs and all this other stupid shit.
That's why it's so fascinating. You have people at such a high level that are still freaking pushing, yet they have the whole world.
Well, and then that's what they figure out. Their work becomes their chase.
Yep.
It's
true. Or you turn into philanthropy.
We talked about this on the last podcast. That's not. It's not. It's taxes. I mean, it's a tax deduction. But
listen, it's a good thing.
It's just so we don't. Yeah, it's a good thing.
It's a win-win.
It's a good cause.
It's a win-win.
I think a lot of the. Oh God, I lost my train of thought. Quick filler.
Baby, come back.
Yo, give him an advertisement or something real quick while I think about what I was talking about.
Advertisement. Today's podcast is sponsored.
Luchador! It's a luchador! I knew it!
That works.
It's a luchador!
You called that, though.
I did. I knew it was going to happen, but I was trying to think of what I was going to say, and then that came
back to it. It's midgets or small people or little people or whatever the most politically correct thing to say is dressed up as luchadors, and they enjoy wrestling. They enjoy the sport. They enjoy the competition and the entertainment aspect of it. All right, next.
Oh my God. All right, well, off the topic of midgets and finances, the Beirut explosion that happened late last week.
Yes, we are a little late on that, but also a little late on our start. So
yeah,
that was interesting for sure.
That was crazy, man. The video footage that came out on that, just
so raw. Yeah,
and the explosion. I mean, the explosion literally moved clouds, dude. It's insane to me.
It changed the atmosphere.
It did. It did.
The force changed. Like if it was raining, it just stopped.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you could see the shockwave going through the air. It looked like water. Shockwaves are weird, man. It's like the sound of something or the force of something like changes, it distorts your vision or whatever. I don't really know how that works, but you could see the shockwave just distorting the sky, traveling, and then all of a sudden you see the dirt and shit coming up towards it, and then poof, and then it passes.
I'm trying to never experience something like that.
No, honestly, me either. And there was a lot of people that live in Beirut and in Lebanon saying that even when there was like the civil war going on over there, they never saw an explosion that big. And all that because of some ammonium nitrate that was apparently this is the current story, is that there was ammonium nitrate being stored in the port, and it was confiscated by I think a Russian ship or something like that. I could be wrong there. Don't just take that for a grain of salt.
No.
Come on. I mean, who looks at an explosion like that and says, "Oh yeah, that was definitely fireworks that went off"?
There's a couple of media outlets that.
Oh my god.
They're like it could be.
Yeah, I think. Well, that's what the government initially reported happened. That's what the Lebanese government reported happened initially. The sad part about all that is that port was the main source of a lot of their imported foods and stuff.
For shipping.
Yeah, it's not going to happen now. I mean, the port's gone, and all the people that lived in Beirut, like in that general area by the port, they're all homeless. And they're still pulling bodies out of the rubble.
They were already having a food supply, right?
Yeah, they have a shortage of food as it is. With the pandemic and stuff, I guess they're being very cautious of who they get food from.
Do you know if that government's doing anything for them during this whole thing?
Yeah, they pledged some amount of money to Beirut to try to rebuild it or something like that. But I mean,
our government or their?
Oh no, not our government yet. Trump mentioned something about we stand by to help Lebanon and it's time of crisis and that and the other. It's theatrics. I think. Really, I mean, they're in dire straits right now, not necessarily as a country, but as a city, Beirut is pretty screwed.
Now, was this due to negligence? Do you know if it's because I did see something regarding the storage might have been improperly contained?
Well, yeah, I mean, I know the ammonium nitrate needs certain. It's got to be stored under certain circumstances to ensure that this doesn't happen, and something must have gone awry where the conditions were met for it to explode. Because it's not. It's highly explosive under the right circumstances, but in and of itself, it's not going to just spontaneously combust. So, and I'm not a scientist or anything, but I did a little bit of reading up on it, and that's my understanding of how it works. And I know it's used in agriculture and mining and stuff like that. So
and the aerial footage just shows no port.
Yeah, I mean that shit's incredibly explosive.
Gone.
I think I also read that the shockwave and the explosion was the equivalent of like a 5.1 magnitude earthquake.
Oof.
Which is insane. I mean, that's pretty damn decent,
So imagine being, so you've got not only you have a pandemic, but you have a financial crisis, and then you have constantly being attacked by an opposing group in the government, and then now you have hurricane season, you have bombs, or I guess product that's not being contained properly, and then you have to manage that, and then now you also have these huge gusts of wind going in Illinois. Like imagine all that happening all at the same time, being able to like balance that.
It is happening. I mean, our it's a weird time in history. Honestly, there's so much going on. So yeah, you got tornadoes going in Chicago, which I don't even remember the last time. I don't even know if that's ever happened before. I know when I lived in Illinois, there was no tornado warnings
in the city.
In Chicago.
A lot of people say they live in Chicago, but they don't actually.
No, this is in the city. 100-mile-an-hour winds in the city of Chicago. Which, could you imagine living in a high rise and just seeing a storm coming at you like that? I mean, the pictures that I saw on Twitter, the buildings are shaking. I mean, they're designed to shake, and sway with the wind. But there was one video of one of those big tower crane things, whatever they call those. The big ones that look like a cross, and it's just spinning in the wind. I mean, just doing circles. There's nobody in it. It's just moving freely, spinning in the wind. And somebody took a video of that from across the street. I mean, it was right in front of their apartment doing that. So I mean, that's terrifying. And I didn't even know they had tornado sirens in the city, but apparently there's tornado sirens blaring all over the place and shit. I mean, that's something straight out of a movie. This whole year, 2020, has just shaped up to be a total clusterfuck.
It was supposed to be the beginning of a great, bright decade.
Yeah. Nope.
The exact opposite, if not the worst.
Nope. Turn that right around. It's if this is foreshadowing the rest of this decade, we might not survive this shit. To be honest with you,
you're actually right.
We might not survive. I mean, there could be a nuclear holocaust coming, and we don't even know it. This is just the beginning. This is the stuff preparing us. Just testing the human race to see if we're strong enough to bear through it.
You know what I'm waiting for? The only thing that could possibly, I mean, us millennials have been through a lot. Obviously, we haven't been through a mandatory draft.
We haven't been through that much, all things considered, but
all things considered. But when it comes to tragic events,
in our own way,
it's been a decent amount. But imagine a war kicking off, and then I think Trump's the type to hit that mandatory draft.
Bro, Trump might get. Somebody tried to wipe his ass out today.
What?
Yeah, bro. Somebody tried to wipe him out. I swear to God. So he held his briefing today, and
yes,
his press conference.
This is recorded Monday. You guys will see this Wednesday.
That's Wednesday. Yeah. We didn't already talk about this, did we? I know we did in the first recording that we tried to do and failed at, but
What first recording?
oh yeah, the one that doesn't exist because it's never gonna come out because there was no video.
There you go.
But yeah, bro, they shot this kid with a pistol came walking up to the gates. Right, and the security camera caught it. I mean, it's right at the front gates. Comes walking up, just gets blasted in the gut, curls over, and he's out. I mean, he's not dead.
He get to the gate or no?
He made it to the gate. He didn't get through it, so he made it to. From what I saw, I mean, it wasn't very good footage, but from what I saw, he was about 20 feet away from the gate, and then he got dropped. But for him to get that close with a pistol in the first place, that's sketchy.
I mean, 20 feet. I mean, you got to remember, it looks like the White House is like really close to that gate, but it's.
Oh yeah, it's a couple hundred yards back still.
Yeah, like it's.
But I mean, there's armed security walking the grounds and everything, and I guess
you want somebody. I don't know if anybody's gonna do it, but can you? I imagine some like futuristic like turrets popping up out of the grass, like the sod, and just like
it's because you saw it. What was it? Angel Has Fallen or whatever it is. That movie.
Good movie. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
If you like action thrillers and you're bored for an hour and a half, it's a good movie.
Not bad. No, it's not. Olympus Has Fallen, not Angel Has Fallen. Olympus Has Fallen.
There's another one that says Angels Down or something like that.
Down. Is it Angel Has Fallen? I think that's the second one then.
No,
London Has Fallen. I'm
Olympus.
Confused.
There's a London Has Fallen, Olympus, and then Angel is Down or something. I don't know. They're all the same movie, basically.
Yeah. Gerard Butler.
Jumping over the thing, and all of a sudden it turns.
I couldn't even imagine, dude. Just an M134 comes out of the ground, just starts mowing down the crowd. Oh my god! I guess they have air support. Like when they're doing stuff like that, they have air support just on standby, ready to fly.
I'm assuming they hit a button and they immediately
ready to fly. Scramble the jets,
F-15s or 16s or whatever they run, F-22s.
That's
so. I'm assuming they put him in his bunker then, right?
Oh yeah, he went straight to the bunker. I mean, it was immediate. This man's been in the bunker like so many times this year.
I bet there's been other presidents that have been in the bunker. They just haven't announced it as much. I feel like.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I mean, how many times have they gone to the bunker like during a press conference though? I feel like this man's going in.
It sound like he like scurries away like he's running. Like it's just
that man running. No, him and his fucking missing double chin thing. He just goes walking away like this. He's following the guys. Oh, we're gonna go downstairs. Okay, we're going that way, and he just disappears off the stage. And then everybody's left there wondering, like, all right, well. The president won't get shot, but we're all screwed, sitting in the crowd.
Like, I just want to talk for 20 minutes. Like, I don't have time for this.
Like, yeah.
Because I'm sure he has to be down there for a certain period of time as well.
Yeah, until the situation's handled, I would assume.
Yeah. But I'm sure he has access to everything. I guess maybe he can still manage.
Oh, the bunker. Have you, so there was a documentary on Netflix, I believe it is, America's Best Kept Secret, or America's Book of Secrets or something like that.
Yes.
So it goes through the White House. One of them goes through the White House, like, plans, I guess. Not really, like, through the White House, actually, because it's all classified, really. Or the subfloors and stuff are all classified. But the old plans from before they gutted it, they went through it. And, I mean, they have a command center set up down in the White House. I mean, there's a whole small city underneath the White House that we don't really have, like, nobody really knows about. But it was all wired back. I think it was JFK or somebody like that, one of the presidents way back yonder before I was even a thought in my dad's head.
Rest in peace.
Yep. He set it up. He rebuilt the whole White House and had the whole tunnels and everything set up for all the communication stuff that they would need. He could basically run the country from down there for an extended period of time. So it's pretty neat. I mean, when I watched it, I was like, oh, that's okay. I mean, I kind of figured as much. I wouldn't doubt if they have anti-air guns and stuff on the top of the White House and all that shit like you see in the movies. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that at all. Not like on top, but that would come out of the hidden away.
Either that or maybe it's just a facade and no one's ever tested them.
I don't know. I don't know. It would make sense that they would have some. Think about this, dude. So you got military bases in hostile countries that have all the anti-air cannons and all that stuff set up. They got machine guns and turrets and all this other shit. You're telling me that the most important place in America, right, the capital, doesn't have all those defenses set up somewhere? The same exact defenses?
Okay, so I'll give you a better one. So you would think they would have all that, yet a plane got into the Pentagon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You would think.
Well, okay, now, yeah, I guess.
I mean,
but that was pre. That was and that was pre 19. That was pre 9/11. That was during 9/11. I guess wasn't that during the same day?
Yeah, but you would think that with the control towers, they always know where every plane is, so they knew it was hijacked way before.
Yeah. But now, okay, so now maybe now they have those air defenses. They probably didn't back in 2001.
I mean, yeah.
Right? Maybe they didn't think about it. Maybe they thought that they were secure enough, and then these hijackers proved that no, definitely not secure enough. They took out 2 damn towers, and then the Pentagon, a big chunk of the Pentagon. So maybe they finally set up some, and then you got all the conspiracy theorists that think the Pentagon just exploded from the inside out. There was no plane. But I'm sure after, if that actually happened, I'm sure they put some measures in place where they could. I'm sure.
Been watching the Terminator too much.
Man, I don't know what this was.
It reminds me of like their little guns that pop up from the back and they just drop.
Oh, on their back, like Iron Man, the little Iron Man suit with the rocket launchers come up. I don't know. I'm sure there's some stuff like that, man. I'm not kidding. There's got to be something.
I'm
not
crazy about superheroes, but Iron Man would probably be my favorite just because of the technology involved.
Imagine if they actually come up with suits like that or something.
You don't think they have suits like that already? Not that can fly, but you don't think they have some type of mech thing that they're working on?
I'm sure they do. Yeah, okay, so there's private companies that are working on stuff like that. I know that for a fact. For like factory workers and stuff, so they can pick up heavier objects. It's like a whole exoskeleton that's all hydraulic and stuff.
Amazon definitely has stuff like that.
Probably.
I think I've seen it. They've shown distribution since they're like yellow, but they definitely help the people pick up like.
Yeah, it's just like they stand in it. It's like a suit of power armor from Fallout. It's just
like Avatar or Fallout. Yeah.
I never watched Avatar. Crucify me.
Wait, are you serious?
Never watched Avatar.
It would be a movie you would really enjoy. I feel like that's a movie that you would have like saw the midnight showing.
You know how much I've never watched Avatar? I thought the little Avatar character guys were actually small compared to the rest of the humans. I thought they were like little Smurfs. Like Smurfs, yeah. That's what I thought.
Okay, so we need to add that to your list of
my list of things to watch.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I'll watch it. I was never presented with a really an opportunity, or I was never enticed to watch it. So, I mean, it was all the rave when it came out for the graphics and the CGI and all that stuff.
Hotness. It's the hotness. It still is the hotness. I'm not crazy about movies like that, and I think it's nice.
It was like a love movie or something, wasn't it? With 2 blue aliens or something like that.
Why are you acting crazy? It's not no 2 blue aliens.
What are you talking? Avatar?
They're not 2 blue aliens.
What are they?
The 2 that are in love are not 2 blue aliens. So basically, you've seen The Matrix, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you know how they hijack in to their character in The Matrix?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the avatars is an actual person that then sinks into one of the avatars.
Wait, so this is not even like an alien planet or anything? It's just like a...
Yeah, it's an alien planet, but the premise of it is that they're trying to have humans interact with the locals and learn their culture and stuff so they can better understand them. But why are humans there? We're there because they have a particular a mining product that we need, which is the whole reason why they... So you have the scientists actually trying.
So this is basically just
it's
a glorified story of the United States and Afghanistan.
Oh my.
Is that what this is?
Oh my gosh.
I see the comparison. They have oil. We need oil.
I'm not saying it's the same thing, but the comparison is similar.
All right.
As in the... Yeah, sure. It's
all right, so you can see the comparison. I mean, I've never, like I said, I've never watched a movie. I'm just asking questions about it.
There's a tiny
there's always
love
one
interest involved there.
There's always a love interest.
Yeah.
Bro, did you hear one of the... All right, so just... We can end this. I mean, we're getting close to the ending here, but I got something that I thought was hilarious. Now, I'm a big history buff. I guess Trump in his address today, or his press conference, said that... I don't know what I didn't watch it. I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch it. I read this snippet. He says that the 1918 pandemic was the reason that World War II ended. Think about that for a second. World War II ended in like 1945.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The pandemic of 1918, which happened in 1917, it wasn't even or no, wait, maybe I have that back to reversed. But this pandemic that happened in 1917, 1918, he's saying that was the reason why the war ended in 1945. The pandemic ended the war. I guess he was alluding to how we'll come out stronger from this pandemic or something like that.
So you're saying that the pandemic like brought everybody together? I guess.
Well, he was trying to say that it brought everybody together and ended the war. But World War II was in 1945, and he's saying that the pandemic ended that war. The pandemic that happened in 1918 ended this war.
And who said this?
Trump.
Oof.
He doesn't know history, man. He's out here talking.
He has more information than we do.
Yeah, the pandemic came back 30 some odd years later to end World War II.
Maybe there was some type of technology that was I don't know, made during that time that was used during that war. I mean, I don't know.
Could you imagine stretching just supporting that man so much that you come up with some crazy ass conspiracy to explain why he was right, why he wasn't wrong in saying that the pandemic of 1918 or whatever that was. I think it was influenza that was ravaging back then. That was the end of World War One.
The flu.
Yeah, that's probably what he meant. He probably said that the flu was the reason why World War One ended, but he erroneously said World War Two. That's probably what happened.
Have they fact checked him?
There's nothing to fact check. Obviously, the flu of 1918 didn't take.
Nothing, I mean, there's always something to fact check. So, like, even though it may be like everyone may be on the same page here, it doesn't mean they're not going to fact check. They're still going to fact check and give a reason as to why it didn't or did.
I don't know. I mean, you shouldn't have to fact check that though. Let's be honest. Obviously, he's wrong. It's very obvious that he's wrong. You do the math. There's like a 30-year difference between what happened. So,
oh boy.
I don't know. It's like 28 years or something like that. I think.
That's a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This man, somebody's got to win the election. All right. I just don't know who.
Are you going to
JoJo? Mojo JoJo.
Mojo. What are you talking about? Powder Puff Girls?
Joe Jorgensen, man. Listen,
deflect.
Oh, Powder Puff Girl. I used to watch that shit when I was a kid. Well, my sister used to watch it, and it was what was on TV.
We all watched that.
It came on before Dexter's Laboratory.
That was the.
So I had to sit through her.
Like that anymore.
No, I had to sit
through her. Are we old enough
bullshit
now
cartoons.
to where we? Huh?
I had to sit through my sister's bullshit Powder Puff Girls before I could watch Dexter's Laboratory.
So are we old enough now to say that they don't make cartoons like that anymore? Hold on. Speaking of cartoons, did you watch SpongeBob?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Of course.
They announced a spinoff to where Patrick Star gets his own show.
Are you serious?
On my life.
How's he gonna have his own show?
I think Squidward should get his own show first.
That'd be boring as fuck. Just him playing the clarinet the whole damn time. And then that's it. Cut. End of the show. I would like to know why he was so damn grumpy though.
Squidward?
Yeah. I bet it's because his dad turned into calamari. He got turned into calamari and his dad just poof, gone.
So he projected his anger out and everyone around him? That makes sense.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I mean, every character's got to have a backstory, right? What if his was that his dad he watched his dad get picked up and...
They haven't done backstories on any of these people. They actually should. That's a good idea.
They did a little bit for Patrick Star with his mom, didn't they?
I think so. Well, I mean, you've seen SpongeBob's parents too, but they don't really... did they actually explain? I don't know. I think every single millennial would be on board with this. Disney Plus needs to hook this up.
Yeah, they need to show the backstories. I mean, they're doing it with Star Wars now. They're bringing out all the...
Yeah.
Well, not really. I mean, they're bringing out more backstories and more of the extended lore, but... Bro, you got to bring some stuff out for us millennials, man. We're sorely lacking in content to watch, and we're starting to go stir crazy over here. I mean, shit, you got half of our generations calling for free college and all sorts of crazy shit like that. So you need to put that put them cartoons back on. Let us watch some damn cartoons and dumb us down. Shit. All right, let's end
on
this
that
thing.
note. On that note, that's a wrap.
Oh, man.
Our next one, so you guys will see this on Wednesday at 5 is when it will drop. And then if you're listening to this on Wednesday, our next one will be on Friday around the same time.
Yes, sir.
So if you like what you heard or you have any type of interest, make sure you like, comment, and please subscribe.
Yeah, check us on the social medias. Hey, Andrew, go like this for me. All right, those are our social medias. Hit us up on there. Eventually, I'd like to get to the point where we can take live commentary and talk to you guys as well while we're doing some live podcasts. So get on there, start following us, share the videos around, and let's get some conversation going.
All right, we'll catch you guys in the next one.
All right, catch you guys later.